Hey there, welcome to the channel. I'm Cindy Daychuck with Queen Bee Creations. I'm kind of surrounded by the project. So we have 4 different cloche projects to do today, all kind of holiday Christmas themed. So one is this big dome. Now these are all things that I have thrifted. So I have been over the past month collecting cloches, options to be able to do some cool little tabletop holiday decor items. So got this metal one that I thrifted. I have this one that has a base. I have 2 glass options. One that I thrifted with this adorable bird on the top. I love this. I've been saving it and praying that it didn't break before the holidays arrived. And then I also have this one. Now I actually thrifted 3 of these, and these have a hole in the side because they're actually vases. So they would either go into a ring or they would hang on a wall. And I have a couple more for some other projects, but this one I am going to use as a cloche. And just to give you an idea of how simple this can be. So the glass ones were cool. They don't have to be painted. This one I'm going to do in a silver. So I'm going to use Rust-Oleum, what is this, titanium silver. So I'm going to spray this out, base and top. And then this one I'm going to do in gold. Now I am going to try and do the bronze satin because I wanted a fairly bright gold, but there's not tons of it. So I'm going to spray it first with the champagne mist and then use the gold, this darker gold over top so that it goes further, if that makes sense. The only other thing that needs painting is this big pot. Now, this is, if you've been following me, I had gotten a big fall flower arrangement that I kind of tore apart, and I used a lot of the pieces of it in different, kind of broken down into all kinds of different fall decor. This is the pot that it was in. What I'm going to do with this is I am going to paint it coal black from Fusion. And because it's the big one, in case you didn't catch on, this cloche is going to go on top. So I'm going to paint it black. That's going to be the only thing hand painted. The rest is going to be a little bit of stinky spray painting. So I'm going to get the painting part done by the time that we reconvene so that you're here for the how am I turning it into Christmas and holiday decor and not the gee, y'all know how to spray paint. I think that you get this. I've got a couple of little wet spots I'll work around, but let me share with you what's next for this. This is how I was painting it, by the way, just so I could get under the feet and letting it dry that way so it wasn't going to stick to my tabletop. But what I do have is some bright gold. This is Gilding Wax by Annie Sloan. You could use Rub and Buff. Mine's just all gone right now. So I just want to add some gold detailing to this so it ties into the gold cloche that we're going to be putting on top. And then once things are dry, we're ready to go. So I'm just taking some of this onto my finger and rubbing it into the details. So this has got some trim that's kind of almost like it's braided cord. And then down in the bottom here, we're going to have lots of the details that we can just kind of, roughly highlight. And it's just, we're not looking to overdo it, but I'm just looking to bring some of the gold detail back. And that way, the gold cloche sitting on top seems a part of it, not an add-on. So while I've got things drying, I thought we'd get a little bit of a jump start on the one project that didn't involve any painting. And so what I do have is I have this little thrifted plate. Now, it's a reproduction milk glass plate. Don't yell at me for using it. It's going to be perfect for my project. I'm not going to use it this way though. Although this fits really nicely, but it's very slidey. But when I flip it over, this raised bottom captures that just perfect. So it gives it a stopper more than anything else. I'm going to be gluing directly onto this. Don't yell at me for that either. One, I can do what I want. But secondly, I'm going to be able to pop everything off. So no worries. What I do have is this little thrifted potted fir tree that I got from the dollar store last year, because sometimes I buy stuff this year that is late for me to do a lot with, but I buy it in anticipation of having to do early crafts the following year before any of the seasonal decor is out. Right now, it's just pretty much all fall and Halloween. A little tiny bit of Christmas popping in, but not much. So before I glue it in place here, and you can see, you know, once I put this over top, I don't have a lot of wiggle room here. So this is going to be a very simple finish because we don't get a chance to do much of anything else with it. But what I do want to do is I want to cover that silver base. So I just want my ribbon to go further. And we're just going to get this glued in place. Again, just watch your fingers, and I'm telling you to do what I'm not good at doing. I get too involved and I just end up getting glue all over me. And because this doesn't have, you know, we've got the white base, which I think plays off well with the fact that this tree has kind of the white snow happening in it. I'm introducing the red to zhuzh it up a little bit, right? So I've got the red in that base, and I just want to, that's not gonna catch. There we go. So with this, I can't do tons around the base of it, but I do want to kind of perk it up a little. I think what I'd like to do, and what I want to do is I want to fill in this base around the tree. I don't want it just to be that rough black, and then we can pick a couple of things in here. Now you saw, I don't have a lot of room to kind of zhuzh this out. Already I'm thinking that might stick out a little bit too far, but I do have the opportunity to, you know, have a little bit of this vine maybe going down the edge. And have some of these berries here and there. And I don't mind these dark ones either, so having a couple of those. So we're just looking at wanting to fill this out. Those vines aren't going to work for me. Maybe this will work better. So I have a little juniper kind of bush that, yeah, that's going to work better. Okay. Just I want it to look full, and that other little vine was just too sparse. Just hold that to dry there a little. So I've got a couple of sprigs that'll work. And the idea with this one is that you know, we're just keeping it pretty simple. There's nothing major to this. And that's the beauty of, you know, these cloche designs. First of all, you can change them out from season to season, right? So because I can pop this tree out, all my decorations are pretty much going onto the tree. So I can pop that out after, and you could have not glued it in place. You could have just put the cloche over it. I just did a little quick tack so that it wasn't going to be flopping around everywhere, right? Now, I'm just thinking I just might want 1 or 2 little sprigs along the base. Just, again, I'm gluing, ouch, sorry. I'm gluing the little sprig actually to the tree base, just so that, again, if I pop that out, it'll go with it very, very easily. Okay, I'm just gluing this back branch on a little bit, see if I can get it to stay in place. And then we'll kind of experiment with the cloche going over top, but it could be done. It could be as simple and as quick as that, right? Just creating that little bit of, it's kind of like you're creating a little vignette or a little bit of story inside and underneath that cloche, right? It becomes this little protected world in there. All right, I think I can just fit in a tiny bit more. Got a little bit more space to play with. And that's it, just kind of, you know, experiment. Put the lid on, take a look, see what you got. And now I just want to see if I want 1 or 2 of these up in the tree. Just again to bring a little bit of that color, so it's not all heavy here. Bring a little bit of the color here and there up to the top. I just want to see at least one berry every time I turn it. Okay, and I think that one gets to be done. And how cute is that? Look at that little tree. We picked a tree deliberately that fit it, you know, that long, narrow kind of cloche top that we had for that, and, you know, filled it in a little bit around the base. Okay, I love that. Super cute. All right, happy so far. Our silver mesh cloche. I kind of have a plan. We'll see how it goes. But what I've decided is I really need to have something in the middle that I can stick things into. So I happen to have a half styrofoam ball that I got from the dollar store ages ago. And I don't have silver paint here. So what I do have is silver gilding wax. So I am going to see if I can get this covered in this. I'm just looking for what would be a good brush to do that in. Maybe a stencil brush. Okay, that works great. I have silver spray paint, but a lot of times spray paint dissolves your styrofoam. So I didn't want to use it because I've only got one of these, but that goes really far actually. That works great. So there you go. Gilding wax on your styrofoam balls to color them is awesome. Good choice. you know, I'll just experiment for you guys. And sometimes that's just what you have to do, right? It's just, whew, but it's going, I'm going to be very silver after this. Awesome. So just cleaning out the brush. Let's get that kind of glued in place here. So just trying to get it centered. And then it won't do that once it's dry, but it's still just all wet on there. So what I am thinking is doing this kind of silver for a change. So kind of silver and green. I have some picks, again, that I can't remember where I got these. I'm likely thinking that I thrifted them at some point, but it's just as likely I got them from my mom because she has a huge room that is just a craft stash. And like, you need to understand, like, you're kind of going, oh, I just need this one color of Christmas ball and I can't find it anywhere. And she goes, well, let's check. And she has Rubbermaid bins full of just balls. And then she has 2 huge blanket boxes in there that are filled with flowers. But then she's got big flowers sitting out in big urns. And then, you know, she's got bags of just, it's crazy. So I try not to steal all of her stuff because she's still thrifting. I mean, she's still crafting. And you know, my one sister does a lot of driving around, and she finds all kinds of stuff from me. She finds all kinds of craft stuff from my mom too. And my mom buys all this stuff. She makes all this stuff, and then she donates it to like the senior center for their fundraising. And so not only is she donating her time, but she's donating all the materials. And often they're selling, they're selling the things for less than they actually cost. So there you go. I am thinking, okay, I thrifted this, but now I'm looking kind of going, there's just a little bit of silver missing at the tip. And I'm kind of going, all right. So I thrifted a pile of these big pine cones that are on sticks. They were all taped together at the thrift store. And there was a bunch of silver ones, but there's all kinds of different colors. So I figured they're destined for different projects. All right, that's just the little touch up that it needed. Clean off that brush. All right, so I was thinking this could kind of be the centerpiece, in which case I sort of need it to, yeah, let's see how tall I can go here. Maybe there. So I'm just looking at where I need to cut this off. All right, that wasn't as hard as I thought. And this gets saved. So nothing goes to waste. And now as I'm pushing it, I just want to make sure that I don't leave it too high, and that I don't leave it too low. Okay, I think I have to go a little lower. One, because I want to have some air space, some space above it. And then also, I can't do the florals. Like, the florals aren't going to be all whooshing. Like, they're not going to be all whooshing. They're not going to be all out. Does that make sense? That, and I'm just looking, thinking, I need more just green. I'm not convinced I like these little leaves. I like the greenery and the balls, I'm not sure that I like those little leaves. So I'm just looking around going, if I ditch those, or if I want more green in there, because it's not very green. What else might I have? Okay, these are sort of frosted, but they've got some green to them. I just would cut off these red berries. Those might work. All right, let me cut one so you can see. And this is what it is. It's all experimenting. And I don't necessarily have a plan before I go live with you guys. Okay, I'm thinking that those are the soft green that I'm looking for. And they kind of are in the same tonal family as those spiky green. So if I did him there, and here I'm looking, right now I have 3 of these picked off. So I'm just looking at balance. And that wax is still wet. I'm still getting silverized here. I just need to be careful. This is like, of course I'm wearing black, right? So you know I'm gonna touch my clothing sometime, somehow, in some way, and it's just gonna get me. So I am thinking of something like this. I did that in between right now so that there's some spikiness happening. And it's a bit of a filler. I have these little balls that I'm thinking I might be able to squeeze in around if I pop this off so they become a little shorter, and I'm able to kind of push them in so that there's still room around the rim. Then what I'm doing for a little bit of filler in spots is I'm taking these longer branches and I am trimming them down just into little pieces. And then I'm gonna cut off one of these little silver balls, one of the baby ones, and then glue it into the center. And then I can glue that into little spots here and there for filler. You just do what you gotta do sometimes, and just using the little bits of stuff that you have. I'm not about to be racing out to the store again to buy more stuff. I just happen to have these little silver balls here, so lucky. And I'm just really going to try and use a hot glue to kind of push them into that styrofoam so that I have enough of a ridge that I can still fit my cloche over top. Because that becomes the important part. That's why I'm doing this, is the cloche. I want the cloche. But I'm kind of digging the rest. I kind of like the silver part. I like, I don't want everything to be gold. I don't want everything to be green, white, and red. I want to have a variety so that, you know, if and as I am selling these, that there's choice for the consumer, right? That they aren't all the same. Okay, so I'm gonna try and leave a little bit of space. Oh, maybe I should, because if I used all of them, they were too crowded. So I need to reduce the space. I mean, increase the space between them so that I am down 3 balls. So maybe, let me just roughly put them in here. And guys, you just do what you got to do. So I am going to just glue all these in place, roughly in an order that works. And okay, I can make that happen and leave those 3 extra. Okay, and then I will go and I will do filler with this and maybe with some of the silver balls, and then this one's done. Okay, so you're with me? I need to move this out of the way. You guys need to be able to yell at me, and you can't. And you're probably screaming, move the bird. We'll get to those guys tomorrow, because I think I'm running out of daylight today. Okay, so I'm gonna get this one done, and then we're 2 out of 4. Woohoo, kind of looks cool, just like this. It looks sort of like there should be a water fountain or something. Okay, day 2. Not necessarily because it took so long, but just because my day was done here. So, you know, customers coming in and out, that's as far as I got. What I do have is I have this beautiful, now I thrifted this plate, and it's kind of it feels more like pottery. I mean, it's got a really rough glaze on it. It's got this brushed gold look. It's got the stars. I love it as is. I don't have to do anything. And it fits this cloche perfectly, right? Just before the lip curves up. So, awesome. The other thing I thrifted is this big, beautiful green tree. Now, it is too tall, leaving it in the pot, and you know, the pot doesn't kind of fit with the decor. This is way taller than my cloches. So we're gonna take the pot off. Whoa, okay, well, good thing to use for something else, because that is a metal rod in there. And that is really glued in there. Okay, so I'm gonna have to try and get that out. I'm gonna have to cut that off because I need this to be more flush, and I don't wanna, oh, there we go. Yay, okay, that was easier than I thought. I like it when things are easy like that. That's perfect. So what I am thinking is I'm going to glue that onto my plate directly like that. And here's where, just keep checking height-wise. So see what I mean? Like that is like a perfect size for in there and the perfect height. So anything that I do needs to stay nice and tight to that tree. And so what I do have, all right, you're gonna be too big. So let's go back in the jar. I have a big jar of bling. And I also have a container off to the side of just all kinds of thrift store jewelry, just old costume jewelry, right? Really inexpensive. And I will cut it up and I will use the beads for things. I will use the clasps for things. I will do all kinds of stuff. And so I was at one point looking at whether or not I would just wrap. I went a different direction. So what I did have in there was I had all these little kind of flat-backed gold snowflakes with little, oh gosh, they're not diamonds, fake diamonds. Let's just go, I can't think of the words, and you're not here to tell me. Fake diamonds, glass, we're just gonna say glass diamonds. And I also have a mess of these gold ball posts. Now, they have a small little drop to them where you would, because they've got the little drop that you could attach other beads to, but I was thinking that maybe by the time I push them in, you don't really notice, and you don't really notice. So I have tons of those. Just, you know, I used to do jewelry. I have lots. And these are just, oh, I have tons of them, and they're gold plated. So this is our expensive tree. It's not that expensive. What did I sell these for? Okay, this is me used to sell these. I used to be Titan Beads. I used to sell 10 of them for $2.50. So I didn't even pay that for them. So it's not that bad. All right, what I need to do is get a mess of glue on this. It kind of sinks in, so if it looks like I'm doing a lot, it's because it's kind of sinking into the base. And I just want to stand up to kind of get it centered here. Okay, just because it kind of looks centered from the side, and then I turn it around and it's not. But there we go. So what I'm going to do first is, because I only have so many of these little snowflake stars. That might be as many as I need, but I'm just looking at gluing them on so that I have just these little gold snowflakes, just having little snowflakes here and there. I just want to see how well it glues on. And then I will intersperse. You know what? I think it's going to be cute and just simple, you know, like not anything huge or major. Just, you've got the little bit of the hint of the gold in the plate, and I'm just gonna, I'm limited in the number of these, so I just want to use them judiciously. Okay, I've attached my stars, and I saved 2, and I glued them back to back, and I glued them on the top, and it just fits in there okay. So now all that's left is to put my little gold balls. Now some of them I can put in and push directly into the styrofoam, and some it is way too far out, so I'm having to attach a little bit of hot glue just to the base and then kind of push them in, and they fit. So they're just adding another little bit of that gold bling, just, you know, not tons, just subtly, but just here and there. So I'm just adding gold balls, and then quite honestly, this one's done. This was the easiest. Well, sometimes my finger slips and I don't actually hit record. Here's where I thought I hit stop, and now I'm recording. But we've got our big pot, and this is the big gold mesh cloche that's going over top of this. And what I did was I took some dead sticks from the back and I spray painted them black and just did a crisscross. You can see that I have a little tiny owl sitting up on the top of one, and I have a much bigger owl that is going to be sitting at the base. So it looks like a mama and baby bird. Right now, I'm just adding some Spanish moss along the edge, just to kind of fill it in and make it look a little bit more finished. But what we will do is we will add a little bit of greenery in the center and add that mother owl into that base and just start to fill it in more. This one's a little bit more like a fall vignette, a fall picture that we're creating in here. Just using our owls and making it look like, because this is a big cloche, making it look like we've got a big bird cage with our 2 owls sitting in there. So I will add some greenery in here. I will add in some little mini pine cones and some little acorns, and we of course will add in that mother owl. And then we will, in essence, be done. There goes the big mother owl. She's just gorgeous. So I was just checking to see I need a little bit more greenery down there before I tucked her into space. But this one really is just about putting her in place, adding a little bit more of those nuts around the base, and then we're done. Okay, this definitely looks too gold. So rather than dark and decrepit, what I think that I'm going to do, well, what I am going to do, because I did think about it, I'm going to take some of our coal black. So this is the all-in-one from Fusion. So once I have added it, I don't have to do anything else, but I'm offloading, so I have a very dry brush. And I'm just going to dry brush it all so that it's got a little bit of that aged character. It kind of fits in with the pot a little bit more, and it just doesn't seem so bright. So we're just dulling it down, but you can see I'm just going in on my dry again. I just am not using much paint at all. So you can see the difference here. Oh, Lord. You can see the difference here with bright here, darker. So it's not crazy. It's not a lot of paint, but it's just toning it down. Now that we've got our projects done, let's take a closer look at this. Really, the idea behind today is I love the look of cloches and really practical for decor pieces. The thing to consider, the thing to remember as you're looking at these finished projects is that none of the cloches have been attached to the base, which means as much as I've done these up for this holiday season, you can remove the cloche off the top, put the base away, wrap it up nice, put it away till next season, and then select another base for that cloche and use it for something else. So, when you see these, when you find them, and check in the glass aisle, upside down vases can look great and work well. I mean, anything that you find that works. I've done 2 with glass. I've done 2 with kind of cages, just to give you an idea. I also kind of made a point today to do them all different. So they're different colors, they're different styles, they're different ways, just to 1, give you more ideas, and 2, to show you the versatility of this. So the first one that we did using our little upside down plate is this cloche, where we've done it very traditional holiday kind of, with the red and the snow and the green. It's very classic, and I just love these tall things. But again, these are vases, right? These are supposed to go into a holder or with the whole hang on a wall somewhere. We turn them upside down. They look like a Christmas tree. I mean, I bought a couple because they were so cool. So we've got, just strategically find a place for these guys. Oh, there we go. Okay, let me move him here. Second, we've got this guy in the gold. Just very simple. This tree, I think, is the perfect shape for in here. I gotta tell you, I tried starting off by making my own tree with a foam cone, and it was too fat. It wasn't tapered enough. It looked jammed in there. I had to start over, and that's when I went back into my Christmas stash box that I hadn't even broken into, and I discovered this guy. And perfect find. And I love the simplicity of this. I love the bird finial. I mean, that's just my absolute favorite on this find. But I love the simplicity of this. You get that hint of gold. It plays off of just that little bit of worn gold here. But it's not in your face at all, and it just fits anywhere. Again, this cloche is removable, so I can now grab another base and create something that screams spring when we get there. I can do another one in fall. I can do, whatever. I have the flexibility to be able to use the top anywhere. We went with, a very kind of traditional blingy sort of holiday look with this one in the silver tones with, the greenery and the silver. We've got some natural elements with, the greenery in there, but even that's got a bit of a sparkle. So kind of cool, and definitely going in a different direction, which I love. And it's in a different color story as well. Oh, the big one. All right. This one we finished with a very natural look, right? We've got our owls in there. This looks almost like a bird cage. I love this now darkened with the black, right? It's not quite as bright, and it wasn't a bright gold to begin with, but the black sticks balance off with the black in here. So I like the decision to have painted those black rather than leaving them the natural look. And, we've got the carpet of greenery there, and we've got some nuts and some acorns and, some pine cones in there. And again, like another super cool look. This one doesn't scream Christmas in any way. It definitely is fall though, and kind of carries you right through. You could add a little sprinkle of snow if you'd like to be able to carry it into the winter months too. But another kind of cloche idea, again, this cloche, this top is removable. So I can take it off of this base. I can wrap the base up and store it again for next winter. And I can use the cloche itself for another design. Okay, 4 different cloche ideas for you, 4 different designs, 4 different looks. Some are going to appeal to you more than others. If you're not into, the red and white, or you're not into silver, or, you hate owls, those aren't going to work for you. But take the idea and run with it to be able to make it your own, to personalize it with a look that you want. Keep an eye out if you're thrifting for items like these that you can turn into. You can turn them into kind of that cloche decor idea. I think these are all super cute, and I love them all. I'd say this is my favorite, but I love each of them, and I could see myself using them in different rooms in different ways. As always, let me know what you guys think. I feel kind of crowded here. Let me know what you guys think. I love hearing from you, and I definitely look forward to seeing you on the next one. Until then, you guys, take care.